Welcome everyone. Thanks for coming today. So this talk is going to be, there's Anya just now. This talk is going to be about the MSc in Genealogical Studies, and there'll be a chance at the end for you to ask questions. So if you use the Q&A function in Zoom to pop those questions in, and we'll come to them at the end. Or I think there is a way for us to let you speak if you'd like to actually ask a question. So pop that in the chat if that's the case. Yes, but I thought I'd start just by talking about the institute itself. So since, just move that to the side. Yeah, so since May 2023, we've actually been an Institute for Genealogical Studies. So the MSc is probably the main thing that we're doing as part of the Institute, but we have lots of other things that are happening and are in development because we're quite new as an institution. So there's other events and courses that are being developed. So you can see here on this next slide, some of the events that we have coming up. So we've got an event in the summer called Ken Your Kin, which is actually an in-person event, which is focused on, it's like a summer school, so we're going to be focusing on Scottish ancestry. And this is an event that we had last year, which is Advancing Genetic Genealogy Academic Conference, but we have more of those things in the future. So I've put the link here and we'll be able to share the slides with you after this session, but keep an eye out in terms of what events we've got coming up. We also have a series of talks called Spotlight Talks, and they happen usually about 4 or 5 times a year. They cost £5, and they're an online talk from a specialist or an expert in genealogy. So again, check out our website for those. So even if before you begin the MSc with us, you can start to engage with some of the interesting things that we have on offer. So I thought I'd just mention some of the research that we have happening alongside us offering courses and events. So there's a few here just to kind of summarise, and there's other things as well that are available on the website. Again, have a look via this link to see some of the projects that we've got. But yeah, lots of interesting things going on for you to check out. Yeah, and this is just a screenshot of part of our website, which is what you'll see if you'll go on to find out more about the course and see the application forms. As you can see, there's lots of places where you can find even more information. I'll touch on all of these during the session, but if you want a bit more detail, then you can go to the website. And we also have this little button here where you can sign up for news. So that will send you information about events, things that are happening with the courses, anything that we're attending. So it's worth being on that mailing list to find out a bit more about us. Okay, so now I'm going to dive into the MSc and really just give a general introduction. So the MSc is it's an advanced academic qualification. So it's designed for those of you who have an interest and some experience in genealogy. So it's not a beginner's course, but definitely we're quite a broad church. So do get in contact with us if you're unsure whether you can come on the course, because we're happy to have that conversation with you. We provide a thorough grounding in the theory and practice of genealogical research. It's suitable for individuals interested in developing their expertise and advancing their career. But we have a huge range of students on our course, all different ages, all different backgrounds. Some people who are just interested in genealogy as their passion, and they want to develop their skills just really because it's their favourite hobby. But we also have a lot of students who are interested in becoming professional genealogists or working in the industry in some way. The great thing about our course is it's delivered online, so you can study it from all across the world, so distance learning, and we also offer lots of flexible study options and multiple start dates as well. And I'll go into more detail about those on some later slides. So how is the course structured and taught? So it's split into 3 parts. So there's a postgraduate certificate, postgraduate diploma, and then there's the dissertation year of the course. So it'll depend on what route you choose to study, so full-time, part-time or modular, how long each of these sections will take. But again, I'll talk about that a little bit later. But think about it being split into those 3 separate elements. And you don't have to do the full MSc if you don't want to. We actually have options for you to exit at the end of the certificate or the diploma, and you can leave us with a qualification. So All of our courses delivered using a virtual learning environment, and at Strathclyde that's called My Place. So that's an online website that you go onto, and all the information for the course is there. So all your learning materials are there, lectures, and you can see here how we teach the course, and we teach it in multiple different ways. So via written and audio lectures, multimedia presentations, online discussion forums, and also some real-time Zoom chat sessions. So they're live sessions that you can join, and you'll be in a cohort, so you'll see the other students that you're in your cohort with. You'll get to ask questions. Those are interactive, so they're often like seminars. So we might deliver some information at the beginning, and then we'll have a discussion about something. And they're dotted throughout the course. And we also have some weekly drop-in sessions as well, and some other drop-in sessions where you can ask questions about the assessments and the assignments. Those sessions are compulsory for the full-time students, but for all other students, they're optional. And all these sessions are recorded. So if you're not able to join, we're aware that people are in lots of different time zones, and we try to accommodate all of those. But if you're not able to join a session, then you can catch up with it later on My Place. You have your own kind of personal tutor. So that's the person who you would contact if you have questions or concerns, or if you need any support. And they'll also mark most of your assignments as well. If you're working through the programme, your tutors will change as you go along, but you would have the same tutor for the certificate and then a different tutor for the diploma and so on. Yeah, so that's the person who you would have the most contact with, but also there's a whole lot of other support available. So there's me as the course director, but also each element of the course has a course leader as well. So they would be a person that you could contact and ask questions. We also have a lot of forums, so if you have questions, then you can ask them on there, and we'll try to get back to you as quickly as possible. It's quite nice to see the questions that other students are asking, because often students have the same questions, and it's quite nice that they get answered in a public forum. One of the great things about our course is that there aren't any exams. So we have continuous assessment with a focus on real world tasks. So those assessments happen throughout the programme, and we have smaller formative ones and then a summative assessment at the end of each module. So it's quite nice. I think that suits genealogists. They can go away and work on a project, and yeah, they're not having the pressure of having to do exams. There's lots of different types of assessments. So as I said, it's smaller and larger, but also we have quizzes, we have group work, the kind of real world elements. So we might have we have assessments like client reports. So you're getting to do things that you might do as a professional genealogist. As you go through the course, so as you move into the diploma, we have some larger research-focused assessments. And so you can often pursue some of your own interests through those. So for example, if you chose a migration study, you can choose the family or group that you're going to be looking at through that study. So there's elements where you can start to focus on your own interests. Within the diploma, we have a 5,000 word project that you can, in negotiation with your tutor, you can choose the topic. And obviously in the dissertation, that's a self-focused project that you'll get to choose the topic for. So what does the course cover? And it's a huge amount of things. It's hard to get them all on one slide. But our course is British focused, and we have a strong Scottish focus as well. But there is that option, as I said, to focus on areas of personal interest. We focus on ethics and standards in genealogy, search strategies and analysis of evidence, loads of different types of records. So it's a whole list here, but there's even more church, civil, censuses, military records, land and property records. We have a strong focus on genetic genealogy, and we have some experts on our team that are focused on genetics. Palaeography, Latin and heraldry, migration and emigration, as well as overseas records. So we try to cover lots of different types of records, lots of different time periods. Yeah, just to give you a real broad scope on the course. So what are the benefits of studying with us? So you gain skills in research, record analysis, and academic writing. We hope that you'll deepen your understanding of the field and profession of genealogy. There's flexible learning options available. That's often when we get student feedback. That's one of the things that they really appreciate. You're not just studying in isolation, so you're part of a larger university, the University of Strathclyde. So there's lots of wider services that you can take advantage of. So there's a great careers service, we've got an excellent library. We also have a disability and wellbeing service, so they're here to support you in your learning. Our course has professional recognition, so there's organisations like AGRA, RQG, who recognise our qualifications. And probably one of the most important things, and again, something that we get in student feedback, is being able to connect with other passionate genealogists from across the world. It's really nice to come on the course and kind of find your people and enjoy discussing the things that you're passionate about. Yeah, so the entry requirements. So normally we require, it's a postgraduate course, so we will require a degree or similar evidence of study skills. However, non-standard educational or professional qualifications will be considered. As I said at the start, the best thing to do is to contact us, and you'll see our email at the end, and that will be provided as well on the slides. Yeah, if you have a question about that, just get in touch. As I said, we're quite flexible, and we're happy to have a chat with you about it. Some experience in genealogical or other relevant research, so maybe history is required. And we look for a range of sources used and a level of comfort with communicating those results. Again, don't think of experience necessarily as being paid work. If you've done some voluntary work, you've worked with a local history group, or you've done some volunteering for Family Search or a library or an archive, all of that is relevant. So again, make sure that that's in your application. It's something that we do appreciate, and it's great for our students to have that when they come on the course. Yeah, so if in doubt, please get in touch so we can discuss options with you. Yeah, so these are the fees, and these are the fees for next year. So you can see a summary here. I won't go through these in too much detail, but you can see that, yeah, full time, which is the 18 months, is around £11,194. And I've put the dollars in here as well, because I know there may be some students on this call joining us from the US. Again, this will be shared with you afterwards, and it's also available on our website. You can see here the different ways that you can study with us, so full-time, part-time, or modular. Modular is our most flexible option. So you can see here full-time is 18 months, part-time 3 years. Modular you can take a lot longer, so you can do a module at a time, you can take a term off, and modular also starts at different points during the year, which I think I've got on my next slide. Just to flag the exchange rates for those dollars I did in January, so there may be a little bit of a shift there. Yes, so full-time, these are the dates that are coming up for our next academic year. So full-time will start on the 19th of September. Part-time will start on the 3rd of October. And with full-time and part-time, you can only start at one point during the year, and that's in the autumn. Where with modular, we have start dates in October, January, and April. So we would still be able to take someone on the modular April cohort if you're interested. So that starts on the 11th of April. And then the start date after that will be the 3rd of October. There's an induction week for each version that starts the week before the start date. So do be aware of that as well. Yeah, so just a bit more further information about us. That's our email. That's the best one to contact us on. So CLL /SIGS or SIGS at strath.ac.uk. Go to our website. We've got some sample timetables, some frequently asked questions, and also some further information. And there's also the link there on how to apply. Yes, so I'm going to hand over to Anya, who's going to talk about funding and financial support, and then maybe at the end of that, Emma, we can come to any questions that have come in. Okay, great. Thank you.
Thanks, Callista. Can everybody hear me okay? I'm using a different headset to the usual part. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, I can hear you fine.
Perfect. Perfect. So hello, everyone. My name is Anya, and I'm from Funding and Financial Support team from University of Strathclyde. And I'm going to just give you a quick overview of what our team does and a little bit more about the course kind of eligibility itself for the from the funding body side of things for home and our UK students. So our team is set and located within Actually Learning and Teaching building at Strathclyde. So you're more than welcome to come and speak to us or see us if you do happen to be on campus and you would like to have a chat. We administer financial support funds for our students. So that would be but not exhausting list, but main ones would be discretionary fund, childcare fund, emergency aid loan fund, and a few other ones which are listed on our website. So if you do happen to find yourself in a bit of an emergency and you need that little financial boost for just like a one-off emergency situation, do feel like you obviously can get in touch, and we'll be happy to assist you, or we'll be happy to at least review your circumstances and advise you. We also offer all the advice and help and support with relation to your funding bodies. So for Scottish students, it would be SAS. For England, Wales and Northern Ireland, it's usually the Student Loans Company. So anything to do with that, do not hesitate to get in touch. There's usually quite a lot of questions from our UK students, which is the rest of the UK students, as we refer to yourselves. And we will be able to help you along your journey, just from the application side of things, even like what to apply for, how to apply, how to select your course throughout your student life at Strathclyde. We also administer some of the scholarships and bursaries. You can find out more on our website. And also, as I mentioned, we give advice on any funding entitlement. If your circumstances, for example, change during your course, during your degree, if you happen to have a break in study, or if something happens and again, you need to suddenly change, stop, start again, you know, all these situations, we will be able to help you. How does that impact your funding? And then on the next slide, I can tell you a little bit more about the actual course structure and eligibility. So from that side of things, for all the postgraduate courses, normally we kind of see here masters, PG dips, so the diplomas and some certificates. I do believe that, yes, here within the department, all three potentials are on offer. However, from the funding side of things, you're only eligible for a master's. So just to clarify that if you are considering any other routes, we would suggest to basically start on a master's and just basically continue on a master's route. Even if you then happen to, let's say, exit with a certificate or with a diploma, only the full master's courses would be actually eligible to receive any of the funding, to attract any of that student funding. The course must be a standalone postgraduate course, so it cannot be a top-up. You cannot bring any other credits from any other learning or previous postgraduate study. It needs to be a standalone course. It also, from the funding rules, it also is evident you need to have 1 year or 2 years for a full-time course. And then if we do have an equivalent in part-time, it needs to be twice the duration. Okay, so in your case, for this department, I can specifically tell you that we've got a master's version, which is a part-time master's, and it is, let me just have a quick look here. A part-time master's is 3 years, and that's okay because the full-time equivalent is 18 months. So again, we have allowed this course to go on the database for all the eligible courses. So that's okay. 18 months is absolutely fine full-time. And then the part-time 36 months duration is okay as well. Any modular ones, unfortunately, they do not attract any student funding. So that route is, majority of that would be probably self-funded. If we are considering any other options like postgraduate, the diploma and the certificate, again, they are not currently attracting any student funding for this department. If you have any queries, or if you've got any questions, if you, for example, considering a certain type of a course, but you're not sure if you are or you aren't eligible, please get in touch with us. We know that starting the journey can be quite daunting and obviously quite complicated places. So feel free, you can contact us and just double check anything to do with the eligibility and the funding bodies rules. Get in touch and we'll be happy to assist you. One more point, just when applying for student funding, you will be directed obviously through the application sections to the details about your course itself. And remember just to enter the name of the course and then the duration, so specify the duration as well. For the genealogical one, we are aware that previously, in previous years, they were set up as the part-time version was set up as an equivalent of 2 years. So basically funding bodies were thinking you're studying over 4 years. This is being corrected just now because obviously the duration for the part-time version is 36 months, 3 years. And your funding obviously needs to be awarded for the 3 years rather than spread over 4, because if you finish in 3, you're missing out. So in order to mitigate that and to obviously help you sort it out, we're going to be correcting the details on our side and correcting the funding database to help you with that. And then just on the last slide there, thank you very much. We're just moving on to the contact details. So see the first email address, financial-support. That's the one to do with discretionary funds, childcare funds, some of the scholarships and bursaries. So if anybody got any questions with regards to that, please feel free to get in touch. And the one just at the bottom there, probably the most important one as well, that's SAS-slc@strath.ac.uk. That's the one to do with any Scottish domicile funding from SAS and the rest of the UK, which is Student Finance England, Student Finance Northern Ireland and Wales. Feel free, any questions, you're more than welcome to get in touch and we'll be able to help you. We've got a wee phone number there. If you're feeling lucky and you want to just give us a call for a quick chat, feel free to do so. Or you can find us on level 4 in Learning and Teaching Building and we'll be able to help. Okay. Any questions, just pop them in the chat below and I'm pretty sure that we can then hopefully answer any of your queries and inquiries just there. So thank you very much. That's all from me.
Yeah, so I'll stop sharing those slides now. But as I said, we'll be able to send those round to you after the webinar, so you've got all those contact details. Emma, have we had any questions through at all? I can see someone had. I think. Oh, there are a couple down there now. Take a look. Yeah, so Rhonda's asked, for the full-time master's programme, can you please provide a programme schedule? When can we apply for the full 25 programme? So yes, we can provide a programme schedule. So I can send that, Emma, if I send that with the PowerPoint slides and that could get sent on? Yeah, so I'll make a note to do that. We're pretty flexible in terms of when we can take applications, but if you can get it in around kind of early summer, that helps us because there's time then to process the application to get you set up. Obviously, once we've accepted you, and there's a certain amount of kind of, it's not paperwork anymore, but online things to do to get your account and everything set up. So if you're joining the full-time program on the 19th of September, so there's plenty of time, so you can access everything straight away. But yeah, we're reasonably flexible with when we can take applications, and we take applications all year round as well. There was another question there as well. On average, what is the weekly course time requirement and assignment requirement? So I would say if you're on the full-time program, it's pretty much like a full-time job. So we're recommending about 35 hours a week. On the part-time, which is the 3-year version, is around, I would say, 20 to 25 hours a week. It depends. It's going to go up and down a little bit because you're going to be building up towards an assessment, and maybe in those couple of weeks before the assessment, then the time's going to be increased. For modular, you're looking at more like 10 to 15 hours a week. So Laura has asked, can you give me an idea of what times you will be available? So maybe Laura, that's for having, I'm not quite sure what that relates to, whether that's contacting us or, yeah, so maybe clarify that in the chat and I'll aim to come back to you. Anne has asked, I'm Irish and I'm wondering whether the syllabus is general, covers worldwide sources, or has elements that are UK or Scotland specific. Andy, do you want to come in on that one? The general.
Yeah, I mean, we kind of start off focusing on Scotland simply because the record sets are easily available online, and we kind of move on to include more English. There is some Irish. That's built upon in the diploma stage where we cover Irish in a little bit more detail. But yeah, and I should say in the diploma we also look at European and I hate to use the word empire, ex-empire, so Australia, New Zealand, South African, for example.
Yeah, we kind of have a good sprinkling of different types of records from different places. But as you're saying, yeah, Scottish is a key focus, and then we just broaden out as we go along.
Oh, and US and Canadian, of course.
Yes, yeah. And there's also that opportunity for you to choose a topic for a project as well. So don't feel like just because you're joining a Scottish university that your project has to be Scottish focused. We have a lot of dissertations, for example, that focus on American resources. So there's scope to broaden out as you go through the course. Anne's also asked about the role of tutor seems key. Can you speak a bit about their background experience? Yeah, I mean, we're really lucky to have a really broad range of tutors who aren't just all British, UK based. We have some tutors that are over in America. We have at least one in Europe. We've got Linda in France. And I would say the majority of our tutors are working as professional genealogists. So they're running their own business and then they teach with us on the side, which is great because they have that professional experience. They're actually working out there, they're working with clients, they're working with organizations. Yeah, and they're usually involved with a lot of professional organizations as well. So a lot of our tutors are members of the Register of Qualified Genealogists, or they're members of AGRA. So yeah, so they come to us with a very broad range. Andy, do you want anything else to add there?
Yeah, I guess we should mention that many of the tutors have actually been through the program.
Oh yeah, yeah.
So we can sympathize on workloads and some of the pain of having to do the assignments and assessments. But so yeah, most of us have been there and gone through the experience.
Yeah. Also, some of our tutors are have gone through the MSc and are now on our PhD program. So we have now an expanding PhD program. We have 8 students on that. So that's often quite a natural route, or becoming more of a natural route from the MSc into the PhD. So again, it's quite nice because those tutors have that direct experience. So Debbie's asked, would the assessment due dates be known at the start of the course? Yes, so all of those they're actually made available before the course starts. So what we try to do is send the handbook round in the summer. So if you've applied and you're beginning to register, then we make sure that those are out to you as soon as possible. That's because we're aware that a huge amount of our students are studying with us part-time and modular, and they have a lot of other commitments, be that work, be that caring responsibility. So the sooner you can get those deadlines, we know is better. So you can plan things. So Laura's asked to clarify, what times are the financial funding staff available in person?
Oh yeah, I was just answering there about the
Sorry.
email address, but in person we've got a drop-in session twice every week. So that would be a Monday and a Friday. And Monday is in the afternoon, so from about, I do believe, from 1 till 3, and then on Friday from 10 till 12. So these are the times you can come in and basically see one of our team in person. If you happen to be on campus, feel free, you're very welcome to. Otherwise, if that potentially might not work out, if somebody is traveling or if you've got other commitments, feel free to email us at any of the provided inboxes, and all our team are monitoring all of them, and we'll be able to pick it up and reply to you as soon as possible.
Yeah, so Debbie's asked, can you provide an idea of the type of assessment questions? So yeah, I'd say that, I mean, there are questions, but a lot of our assessments are focused on problem solving. So we will, particularly some of the early assessments in the certificate, we give you a genealogical problem or family for you to go off and investigate, and then you have to put all that material together and use. So we teach you how to use Family Tree Maker, which is software to build family trees. Some of you would have already maybe been using that, or you might use something like Family Historian or Roots Magic or one of those. But we teach the course using Family Tree Maker, and that will be made available to you for free once you join the course. So in those early assessments, yeah, you're going off and doing some research, and then you're building those charts and submitting a report. They're the main assessments, but we also have what we call assignments, which are dotted through the course for you to be developing and testing your skills. And a lot of those are kind of mini problems to go off and look at, and you'll be using a variety of different resources. So you'll be learning about a set of records and resources, there'll be learning materials and video support, and then you'll go off and have a go at trying out those sites and answering some questions. Later on in the course, it's a bit more essay focused. So you'll, as I mentioned before, you'll do something like the migration study, which is where you go off and investigate something that is on the theme of migration, but you get to choose the topic within that, and you'll be presenting that as a narrative. So as you work through the course, there'll be more of those narrative-based assessments. We also have paleography assessments. Andy, have I missed anything?
Yeah, there's some optional choices at
Yeah.
some point. So, for instance, the first paleography exercise, there's a choice of English or Scottish. There's another assessment where there's actually 5 choices, and you choose between looking at a Scottish poor law record, looking at a military family, or a gentry family, or a medical family, or in fact doing some genetic work.
Yes, there's a few assessments like that where actually you get a choice of things. So as you work through the course, you'll actually, heraldry is often new to students, and some students just absolutely take to it and they get very passionate about it, and then there's that chance for them to choose it again then in the diploma. So yeah, think about working through the course and discovering new things, and actually then the idea of the assessments is it kind of fits what you're interested in, and you can start to kind of maybe hone an area of interest if you're thinking of working as a professional. Yeah, let me just have another little browse. I think that's all the questions. If yeah, if you've got anything else, do pop it in now, or if you want to actually ask your question, I think there's a way to do that too.
There's another question in the question and answer section from Ian saying, can you speak to the dissertation phase of the programme, please?
Yeah. Yeah, so the dissertation is that final phase. So for the full time, that usually runs from October to the end of March. So our students are just in the last 2 weeks. And then for the part-time, it's October to June. And I should say as well that for dissertation, you could do the modular route through certificate and diploma, but once you get to the dissertation, everyone is either on full-time or part-time. So modular then go on to the part-time route. So the dissertation, in usually the summer before you start, then we ask you to submit some ideas, and you may come to the course right at the beginning with an idea for your dissertation, but I'd say for most students, it develops out of learning about new records and learning about just new ideas from doing the MSc. So you start to have a think about ideas and submit those, and Graham, who's the lead tutor on our dissertation phase, will give you a bit of feedback on that. What he'll also do is assign you a personal tutor. So like every other part, you'll have a personal tutor or supervisor for that part of the year. And the idea is that we try and match student topic ideas with tutors that either is their specialism or it's something that they'd be interested in or could support you in. And then you move into that phase with your supervisor where you're discussing ideas, you're putting together a research plan, and then that goes through various phases of being looked at and given feedback, and then you're developing the idea all of the time. And then it gets approved, and then you're working on all the different elements of the dissertation. So it's a really nice opportunity to do quite a large project. It's self-driven, but with that support of a supervisor and the wider team. It's 12 to 16,000 words. So again, it's a nice big project to really get your teeth into. Andy, if you want to come in on anything on the dissertation.
No, I think you made the point earlier that we're not restricted in location. In fact, the tutors often like some unusual locations simply because it's kind of more interesting than seeing yet another analysis of people in a poorhouse or something. But yeah, the range of topics is incredibly diverse. Do we publish a list, Callisto? I don't think we do.
We can make library thing, which Graham's been working on, which is actually, you can't access the dissertations themselves, but it's a list of the dissertations that we've had in the past. So I could include that link because I think that's public, that people can just search it. So then you could see some of the work that our students have been producing. I mean, I love supervising dissertations. It's really fun. It's great to just, students bring so many new ideas. You get to kind of work on a project, and as a tutor you learn new things as well, so it's a really nice process. It's a nice long process of learning, I think, too. So yeah. Anything else come up anywhere? Doesn't look like it. But if I've realised that we've given you a lot of information today, so if anything, you might want to process that. If anything comes up and you have more questions, then please just get in contact for finance and you're in those drop-in sessions or with us, then just either you'll find our email on our website or on the slides that we send around, and we're more than happy to answer any questions that you might have. So do get in touch, whether it be about the course itself or the application process. We hope that you can join us at some point in the future on the course.